Continuing from our exploration of Arizona's water mapping tools and online resources, we now turn to the legislative foundation that made such regulatory oversight possible: the Arizona Groundwater Management Act of 1980. This act stands as one of the most important environmental and real estate laws in the state's history, setting forth the framework for sustainable groundwater use and long-term water resource planning. For real estate professionals, understanding this legislation is essential to advising clients responsibly on issues of water availability, subdivision requirements, and development feasibility. The Groundwater Management Act, GMA, was enacted in response to decades of unregulated groundwater pumping that led to severe aquifer depletion in many parts of Arizona. By the late 1970s, overuse of groundwater had caused land subsidence, declining water tables, and damage to infrastructure, particularly in rapidly growing metropolitan areas such as Phoenix and Tucson. At that time, Arizona's water supply was heavily reliant on groundwater, and without reform, the state risked both environmental degradation and economic instability. The act created the Arizona Department of Water Resources, ADWR, which became the central authority for managing water rights, permitting wells, and enforcing conservation standards. The GMA divided the state into active management areas, AMAs, and irrigation non-expansion areas, INAs. Within AMAs, such as Phoenix, Tucson, Prescott, Pinal, and Santa Cruz, strict regulations were implemented to control groundwater withdrawal, mandate conservation, and plan for future sustainability. One of the most significant provisions of the GMA is the Assured Water Supply, AWS, requirement under ARS, paragraph 45,576, which mandates that developers of new subdivisions within AMAs must demonstrate access to a 100-year water supply before selling lots. This measure protects both consumers and the environment by ensuring that urban growth does not outpace available water resources. The Act also introduced the Groundwater Rights System, which defined who may legally pump groundwater and in what quantities, based on historical use and priority classifications. In practice, the GMA ensures that all groundwater withdrawals are monitored and that water use aligns with regional management goals. For instance, a developer in Maricopa County proposing a new subdivision cannot obtain a public report from the Arizona Department of Real Estate, ADRA, unless ADWR has issued an Assured Water Supply designation. Similarly, agricultural users operating within an INA are prohibited from expanding their irrigated acreage beyond established limits. The GMA also established 5 successive management plans for each AMA, with progressively stricter conservation targets. These plans govern residential, industrial, and agricultural water use, requiring local governments and utilities to adopt efficient water delivery systems. By integrating scientific data and long-term projections, the Act embodies Arizona's forward-thinking approach to balancing development and conservation. From a real estate standpoint, the implications of the Groundwater Management Act are substantial. Licensees must understand how water regulations affect a property's development potential and disclose any water-related restrictions or deficiencies as material facts. For example, if a parcel lacks an assured water supply in an AMA, this must be communicated to prospective buyers. Likewise, brokers representing developers should verify compliance with GMA requirements before marketing any subdivided land. The GMA has also influenced land values across Arizona, as properties within areas with secure renewable water sources, such as those served by the Central Arizona Project, SAP, are often more desirable. Understanding the Act helps licensees interpret market dynamics related to water availability, long-term growth, and sustainability trends that shape Arizona's real estate landscape. Review summary. The Groundwater Management Act of 1980 was enacted to prevent overuse of Arizona's groundwater and to ensure sustainable water management. It created the Arizona Department of Water Resources divided the state into management zones, and implemented the 100-year Assured Water Supply Rule for subdivisions. The act protects the state's economic and environmental future, while imposing clear regulatory standards for developers and landowners. Real estate professionals must understand the GMA's impact on disclosure, land value, and development feasibility. Discussion prompts. Why was the Groundwater Management Act of 1980 necessary for Arizona's long-term development? Answer: because unregulated groundwater use had caused aquifer depletion and land subsidence, threatening both the environment and future growth. How does the Assured Water Supply requirement protect homebuyers and the environment? Answer: it ensures that new subdivisions demonstrate access to a reliable 100-year water source before being approved for sale. What is the role of the Arizona Department of Water Resources under the GMA? Answer: ADWR enforces groundwater regulations, manages active management areas, and issues permits and water supply designations to ensure sustainable usage. Closing remarks. The Groundwater Management Act of 1980 represents one of the most visionary and impactful water policies in the nation. It transformed Arizona's approach to growth, ensuring that development could continue responsibly in a desert environment. For real estate professionals, a working knowledge of the act is not just a matter of compliance, it is a reflection of professional integrity and environmental stewardship. By understanding and communicating the act's provisions, licensees help preserve both Arizona's natural resources and its economic future. Supporting sources and key case law. ARS Title 45, Chapter 2. Arizona Groundwater Management Act, ARS. Paragraph 45, 576. Assured Water Supply Program, AAC. R4 28111H. Licensee's duty to disclose material facts. Arizona Department of Water Resources. Groundwater Management Plans and Active Management Area Guidelines. Hill v. Jones, 151, Ariz 81, 1986. Disclosure of material facts affecting value or usability. Central Arizona Project. Water Distribution and Conservation Initiatives.